If you passed on buying a classic motorcycle in the last 5 years because you thought they were just old junk, you missed out on some of the biggest returns in the collector vehicle market. And you're not the only one. Right now, while most people are chasing overpriced Harleys and BMWs, smart collectors are quietly scooping up undervalued Japanese and European bikes that nobody's paying attention to. Motorcycle auction experts are calling this the silent gold rush of two-wheeled investing. The data shows certain models under $5,000 have already started climbing 15 to 20% annually. This happened because these bikes were built during the golden era of motorcycle engineering, before emissions killed performance and computers took over everything. We're talking about machines that'll triple your investment while giving you pure riding joy. So if you're still thinking motorcycles are just toys, here's what the smart money already knows. In this video, I'm revealing 5 motorcycles under $5,000 that collectors say will double in value by 2030. Some of these will shock you with their current prices. Others will make you kick yourself for not buying one years ago. And one of them is so undervalued right now that dealers are practically giving them away. Stick around because number 1 is a bike that most people think is worthless, but insiders are hoarding like gold. But before we start, hit that subscribe button now if you want more investment intel that dealers don't want you to know about. Number 5. Honda VFR-75OF, 1986 to 1997. When most riders see a Honda VFR-75OF, they dismiss it as just another sport touring bike. But that's exactly why you can still find these engineering marvels for under $5,000. What most people don't realize is that the VFR wasn't just another motorcycle. It was Honda's flagship technology showcase when it debuted. The VFR-750F features one of the most sophisticated engines ever put into a production motorcycle, a gear-driven cam V4 that represented the pinnacle of Honda engineering. These bikes were revolutionary when they launched, combining race-bred technology with practical everyday usability. Look at recent auction data, and you'll see the trend forming. Clean examples that were $2,500 just 3 years ago are now consistently fetching $3,500 to $4,000, with pristine low-mileage bikes already crossing the $5,000 threshold. Just last month, a 1990 model with only 12,000 miles sold for $4,800 on Bring a Trailer, nearly double what it would have brought in 2020. The collector angle is clear. V4 Hondas are becoming the thinking man's superbike. Modern motorcycles simply don't have the engineering complexity or mechanical symphony of these machines. The sound alone, that gear-driven cam whine combined with the V4 exhaust note, is something you simply can't find in today's computerized offerings. With production numbers limited compared to Honda's more mainstream models, and truly clean examples becoming increasingly rare, expect values to climb steadily. By 2030, finding a well-maintained VFR-75OF under $10,000 will be nearly impossible. Number 4. Kawasaki ZX7R, 1996 to 2003. The Kawasaki ZX7R is perhaps the most overlooked superbike of the 1990s. While everyone was focused on the ZX9R or Suzuki's GSX-R75, the ZX7R was quietly dominating racetracks worldwide. This bike was essentially a street-legal version of Kawasaki's world superbike competitor, with minimal compromises made for road use. The racing pedigree speaks for itself. Scott Russell's Mr. Daytona title came aboard the ZX7R. The bike consistently challenged Ducati's dominance in world superbike, often beating the Italian machines at their own game. This wasn't just another Japanese superbike, it was purpose-built for racing glory. Yet today, clean ZX7Rs are still available between $3,500 and $4,500, an absolute bargain considering comparable period Ducatis or even Honda RC51s are fetching twice that amount or more. I recently spotted a 1998 model with under 20,000 miles selling for just $4,000, about the same price as a 10-year-old Ninja 650. What most buyers don't realize is that we're witnessing the beginning of a Kawasaki collector surge. Early Ninjas are already exploding in value, with the GPZ 900R from Top Gun leading the charge. The ZX7R is next in line for this appreciation curve. The 2030 timeline is particularly significant for the ZX7R because it marks the 30-year milestone for many of these models. the point when motorcycles typically transition from used bike to classic status. Insurance companies, registration authorities, and collectors all recognize this threshold, which creates a natural value inflection point. Number 3. Ducati Monster 900, 1993 to 1999. What most riders don't know is that the Ducati Monster quite literally saved Ducati from bankruptcy. When this naked bike debuted in 1993, Ducati was on the financial ropes. The simple, stripped-down Monster changed everything. Designer Miguel Galuzzi's vision was revolutionary. Take the essential elements of a motorcycle and discard everything else. The Monster wasn't just another motorcycle. It created the entire modern naked bike category that dominates sales today. The market disconnect here is striking. Early Monsters, the purest expression of Galuzzi's vision, can still be found under $5,000, while later, less significant models often command higher prices. This pricing anomaly cannot last. What drives the investment thesis is the Ducati brand premium. Look at any vintage Ducati from the 1970s or earlier. Prices have skyrocketed beyond the reach of average collectors. The early Monsters represent the entry point into Ducati collecting before the inevitable price explosion happens. These early bikes feature the fundamental elements collectors crave: air-cooled L-twin engines, simple electronics, and mechanical purity. They were among the last pure Ducatis before the corporate takeover that would eventually lead to water cooling, ride-by-wire throttles, and complex electronics. By 2030, finding an original Monster 900 under $10,000 will be nearly impossible. Number 2. Yamaha FZR1000, 1987 to 1995. The Yamaha FZR1000 was the undisputed king of superbikes in its era, dominating every magazine comparison test for years. Yet today, it gets virtually no respect on the used market, a disconnect that spells opportunity for savvy investors. What made the FZR1000 special was its technical superiority. The Genesis engine with 5 valves per cylinder, the revolutionary Delta Box aluminum frame, and the aerodynamic bodywork were all at least 5 years ahead of the competition. When introduced, nothing else came close to its performance envelope. Recent auction data tells the story of a bike on the verge of discovery. In 2020, you couldn't give these away at $2,500. Now, clean examples are regularly crossing the $4,000 mark, with exceptional low-mileage bikes already commanding over $6,000. A 1989 example with just 5,000 miles recently fetched at $7,200 at auction, a harbinger of values to come. What we're witnessing is nothing less than a Japanese superbike renaissance. Just as American muscle cars were once affordable before skyrocketing in value, the iconic Japanese superbikes of the 80s and 90s are following the same trajectory. The FZR1000 represents the pinnacle of this era. The timing for investment couldn't be better. Clean, original examples are disappearing rapidly, as many are being modified, crashed, or simply wearing out. The supply of investment-grade bikes shrinks monthly, while demand continues to grow as new collectors enter the market. Number 1. BMW K75, 1985 to 1996. The most shocking bike on this list, and my number 1 pick for investment potential, is the BMW K75. This is the bike nobody wants. Yet, most riders dismiss these as weird, ugly, or not real BMWs compared to their more traditional boxer engine stablemates. But knowledgeable engineers recognize the K75 as perhaps the most brilliantly designed motorcycle of its era. The Flying Brick engine, a liquid-cooled inline-3 mounted longitudinally and laid on its side, offered unprecedented smoothness and reliability. These bikes routinely clock 200,000 plus miles with minimal maintenance, thanks to engineering that was decades ahead of its time. The current market situation borders on absurd. You can still find clean, well-maintained K75s for $2,000 to $3,500, often from original owners who maintain them meticulously. I recently saw a 1995 model with complete service records and under 30,000 miles sell for just $2,800. That's less than the cost of a decent used Japanese cruiser, with none of the collectible potential. What most people haven't noticed is how BMW airhead values have absolutely exploded over the past decade. The same collectors who drove that market are now quietly turning their attention to K-bikes, recognizing them as the next frontier in BMW motorcycle collecting. The 30-year prophecy for the K75 is particularly compelling. By 2030, even the youngest K75s will be over 30 years old, officially crossing into classic territory. Parts availability will decrease, further driving up the value of well-maintained examples. The recognition of these bikes' engineering excellence will finally catch up with reality, and prices will reflect their true significance in motorcycle history. What's clear when looking at these 5 motorcycles is they all share a common thread. Each was built during the golden era of motorcycle engineering before computers and emissions regulations changed everything. While everyone else chases obvious collector bikes, the real money is in these overlooked legends that never got the credit they deserved. So what do you think? Do you agree with my predictions, or am I missing something? Which of these bikes surprised you most? The collector landscape is shifting dramatically. Understanding which brands are poised for growth and which may fall is crucial for any enthusiast. Comment below with your thoughts and subscribe now. The next wave of motorcycle investments is coming, and you won't want to miss what happens next.